That number is 62.7% for men being abused as children, which is twice the frequency that's seen in the general population.
Have you ever wondered why some people reflect on their childhood with warm nostalgia while others would rather not revisit it at all? If your memories are more haunting than heartwarming, know this: you're not alone and you're not broken for feeling this way. Childhood trauma leaves lasting marks, but it doesn't define your worth. Let's dive into 8 common thoughts shared by survivors of childhood trauma, unpacking the reasons behind them and offering reassurance along the way. Number 1. Something is deeply wrong with me. Childhood trauma often whispers insidious lies, convincing you that something is inherently wrong with you. The harsh words or actions you endured, especially during your formative years, can feel like proof of some imagined flaw within. These feelings, however, aren't a reflection of your worth, but rather the lasting imprint of disrupted early achievements. Research published in the Journal of Traumatic Stress highlights how such disruptions can create a persistent sense of unworthiness, making it hard to shake the belief that you're fundamentally flawed. But here's an important truth: the problem was never you. The cruelty you experienced speaks volumes about the person who inflicted it, not you. You're not defined by their actions or words. Healing begins by recognizing that your worth has always been intact. With time and support, you can silence those lies and embrace the truth. You are whole, deserving, and enough. Number 2. I feel like something bad is going to happen any second. Does it ever feel like you're standing on the edge of an invisible cliff, bracing for the ground to collapse beneath you? That unshakable sense of dread, as if something bad is always about to happen, can feel overwhelming. This experience, known as hypervigilance, is a key feature of PTSD and a lingering echo of past trauma. Even in everyday situations like prepping for a job interview, walking alone at night, or joining a family gathering, your anxiety can take over, leaving you on high alert for danger that isn't there. This constant state of heightened awareness isn't your fault. It's your brain's survival instincts stuck in overdrive. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, hypervigilance stems from trauma, rewiring your brain to prioritize detecting threats. While this response may have protected you during traumatic events, it can become a barrier to feeling safe in the present. The good news? You don't have to live with this forever. Therapy and mindfulness practices can help retrain your brain, easing the hyper-awareness and helping you regain a sense of calm. With time and support, the cliff's edge won't feel so close, and you can begin to build a life that feels secure and steady. 3. My emotions are intense and out of my control. Do your emotions ever feel like a runaway train, impossible to stop or steer? A small disagreement with a friend might spiral into overwhelming sadness or anger, leaving you wondering why you react so strongly. Trauma rewires your brain, overactivating the amygdala, your threat detector, and weakening the prefrontal cortex, your rational response center. This imbalance makes it harder to regulate emotions, leading to sudden mood swings and extreme reactions. Studies on emotional dysregulation reveal how common this is among trauma survivors. So if this resonates with you, you're far from alone. 4. No one can be trusted. If betrayal was part of your trauma, trusting others might feel like navigating a maze with no exit. Even when surrounded by kindness, you might find yourself scanning for hidden motives, questioning whether someone's intentions are truly genuine. It's exhausting, but understandable. Early experiences of betrayal can leave deep scars that reshape how you view relationships. Attachment theory research sheds light on this, showing how betrayals during formative years can create barriers to trust that persist into childhood. Your instinct to protect yourself isn't misplaced. It's your mind's way of shielding you from more pain. But living in constant defense mode can also prevent you from forming meaningful connections. But not everyone is out to hurt you. Healing doesn't mean throwing caution to the wind. It's about learning to recognize the difference between genuine, supportive relationships and those that might be harmful. This skill takes time and practice, often with guidance of a therapist or a trusted support system. 5. I always feel powerless. Feeling like life happens to you instead of for you? That sense of powerlessness, known as learned helplessness, often stems from childhood trauma. When adversity strikes repeatedly during formative years, it can create the belief that your actions don't matter. Over time, this mindset can linger, making it hard to assert yourself or take control of situations. As an adult, this might show up in subtle but significant ways, like hesitating to stand up to a toxic boss, staying silent in unhealthy relationships, or struggling to make important life decisions. It's not about weakness, it's about our survival mechanism that's stuck in place. But you can unlearn helplessness. Studies show that starting small, such as setting boundaries or tackling manageable goals, helps rebuild your sense of agency. Each step reminds you that your actions do have power, allowing you to reclaim control over your life. 6. Past memories only trigger me. For many trauma survivors, revisiting the past feels less like a comforting stroll down memory lane and more like navigating a minefield of triggers. A nostalgic song, a favorite childhood movie, or even the aroma of a familiar dish can unexpectedly stir up distressing emotions tied to painful memories. This experience, often referred to as trauma recall, occurs because sensory cues, sounds, sights, smells, or tastes can act as a powerful gateway to unresolved feelings. Research highlights how these triggers activate parts of the brain responsible for fear and survival, pulling you back into the emotional weight of past events, even when you're safe in the present. It's tempting to avoid these reminders altogether, but that can lead to a narrower, more isolated life. Instead, working with a therapist can help you unpack and process these reactions. Gradually, those overwhelming triggers can lose their intensity, shifting from terrifying reminders to neutral or even empowering memories of how far you've come. Healing takes time and effort, but every step you take helps reclaim your narrative. With patience and support, it's possible to face these triggers and move forward with a sense of strength and resilience. You are more than your past. You are your own path to healing. 7. Why does everyone take advantage of me? Does it feel like you're stuck in a cycle where others always seem to take advantage of you? Growing up in a toxic environment where your needs were ignored or even shamed can leave lasting scars. It might have taught you to suppress your feelings just to keep the peace, leaving you vulnerable to manipulation later in life. This pattern often feels like an uphill battle. Every time you try to assert yourself or set boundaries, guilt or fear of rejection creeps in, making it even harder to prioritize your own well-being. Healing starts with recognizing your worth. Your needs and feelings are just as valid as everyone else's. By practicing self-care and focusing on building your confidence, you can begin to break free from these unhealthy patterns. Over time, you'll find it easier to identify red flags and steer clear of those who don't have your best interest at heart. You deserve relationships where you're valued and respected, not ones that leave you drained. With time and effort, you can create a future filled with healthier connections and a stronger sense of self. 8. I feel like I'm always faking it. Impostor syndrome is a frequent companion for trauma survivors. Even when you achieve something remarkable, there's that nagging voice insisting it was just luck or you'll be found out eventually. Childhood trauma can exacerbate these feelings by undermining your ability to internalize success. But here's the reality: your accomplishments are real, and they're yours. Learning to celebrate your wins, no matter how small, is a powerful antidote to imposter syndrome. If any of these thoughts hit close to home, take heart. They're common among trauma survivors, but they're not permanent. Acknowledging your feelings is the first step toward healing. With the right support, whether through therapy, community, or self-reflection, you can rewrite the narrative of your life. You are more than your trauma, and brighter days are ahead. Remember, healing is not about erasing the past, but about reclaiming your power in the present. Before you go, let's keep the conversation going. Did any of these points hit home for you? Which one resonated the most? Or maybe you've got your own insights or experiences to share. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if this video gave you a new perspective or just made you feel a little less alone, why not show some love? Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss out on content that speaks to you. Life's a journey and we're all in it together, so let's make it a great one. Until next time, take care and keep shining.